South Florida, this is Headliners, only on CBS News Miami.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Headliners. I'm Elliot Rodriguez. The RNC and DNC are now behind us. With voter turnout and the primaries low in both Miami-Dade and Broward, we wanted to know about voter apathy to see if it would spread to November. CBS News Miami's Tanya Francois took to the streets of Wynwood, asking registered voters if they're paying attention to the conventions.
I'm kind of hesitant about it, so I don't know. I'm more uncommitted right at this point.
Sandra Sierra, who lives in Fort Lauderdale, is undecided. She's been watching the DNC, hoping to get answers to her questions before voting.
I'm just waiting for Kamala to talk about, what she's going to do for Palestine and how she's going to help the Palestine people.
Thad Macon also plans to vote. He watched the RNC and now the DNC, too.
Obviously, the RNC was pretty wild, and the DNC was great to see everyone come together.
Taylor Washington says the DNC has her full attention.
I think it was super interesting. I like the speeches. I don't know. I really like seeing the Obamas come back and speak.
Michael Davis says he too has been paying attention to the speeches at the DNC.
I was really inspired by Tim Walz's speech on last night. I just felt a lot of excitement, and I'm really looking forward to the vote.
Jennifer Doolittle says she's been keeping up too, but has concerns about both candidates.
I worry whoever wins, something bad's going to happen. It's not going to be good.
On either
it's a
side.
Horrible election.
Tanya Francois, CBS News, Miami.
Well, while the polling numbers locally may not have had a large turnout, millennials and Gen Zers may now be a major part of the deciding factor come November for the presidential primaries. We'll have to wait and see. They are spending time on social media getting acquainted with the candidates and the issues in campaign 2024. But will those young voters turn out on Election Day? I spent time at several early polling places to find out.
This is the Davie Cooper City Library. It's an early polling place, and I'm talking to voters and wondering how involved are young people like this young man behind me in this election?
Young people are historically very difficult to get out and excited. They're very skeptical. They're very apprehensive about voting.
Sam Schwartz is a 20-year-old. He grew up in South Florida, attends college in Boston, and volunteers with March for Our Lives, the anti-gun violence group founded after the Parkland shooting. His cousin, Alex Schachter, died in the school shooting.
As you know, I lost my cousin in the Parkland shooting. He was one of 17 people that were killed. And young people have really grown up hiding under our desks, hiding under in closets, and we don't want that anymore. That's not the future we want for our children and the children that come after them.
November 5th is going to be the most important day in the history of our country.
Both presidential candidates have a major presence on social media, using viral clips, sound bites, and memes to generate momentum among young voters.
Hey, Kamala, what are we going to say to Donald Trump in November?
Bye, bye, bye.
Bye, bye, bye. We will make America great again.
The social media push is reaching potential young voters like Danielle O'Neill, a 28-year-old graduate student who follows Harris on platforms like TikTok and Instagram.
Her social media presence is very big. She's up to date with everything that's going on and things like that, so that's a really big deal to me.
In Doral, I spoke to Brian Paz Hernandez, a 29-year-old candidate for the Miami-Dade Commission. He's a conservative millennial who likes Donald Trump.
I like personally that Trump has been on a lot of podcasts that I listen to, and that he has been tapping into that new media market to try to reach out to us.
Depending on the day of the week, I'm a millennial, sometimes I'm a Gen Zer.
Cheyenne Kippenberger is a member of the Seminole Tribe of Florida. She's 28 years old and a former Miss Florida Seminole and Miss Indian World. Motivated by the repeal of Roe v. Wade and the fight against climate change, she's planning to vote for Kamala Harris.
I think that with the shift that happened in the change with the presidential nominee, there was a very large change amongst young voters. I think that they're re-motivated to now get into the game of the election process.
A 29-year-old high school history teacher, Hernandez lives with his parents since he can't afford housing in South Florida.
We want candidates who are going to talk to what millennials want to deal with, cost of housing, the fact that, inflation is making it really hard for us to move out of our parents' house and have financial independence.
Well, the economy, as you mentioned, is top of mind in this election, but there's another issue Democrats are focusing on, and that is abortion. I also took a look at the power of women in this campaign. I spoke to both Republicans and Democrats about the key issues expected to drive people to the polls, the top issue being abortion for women. And you can find those pieces and more on our website, cbsmiami.com. And we come back, a solution to hair loss. We talk to an expert about what treatments, which ones really work. Next.
From South Florida, this is Headliners, only on CBS News Miami.
Welcome back to our program, and thank you for watching. I'm Elliot Rodriguez. Hair loss, it's a touchy topic. Interest in finding a solution to the problem is on the rise these days from men, women, and even a growing number of young people. It comes at a time when breakthrough treatments are giving some patients results not possible in the past. Here's CBS News Miami's Maribel Rodriguez with a look.
I really just felt so embarrassed, and I didn't know of any woman at all that was going through this. And so I just felt very alone.
Cecilia Perez has been dealing with hair loss for more than 20 years.
When I was in my early 20s was when I first started noticing that my hair wasn't looking the same. It was getting thin. I was noticing that hairstyles weren't looking the way that I was used to them looking.
She began using over-the-counter topical products on her own, something she regrets.
I wish I would have seen a doctor in my 20s as opposed to trying to self-medicate, because I didn't know that those side effects were actually totally normal.
After years of struggling, she met Dr. Aaron Nussbaum, a dermatologist at the Miami Hair Institute.
Androgenetic alopecia, or pattern hair loss, is more common than you think, with approximately 80% of men or 40% of women developing this condition at some point in their lives.
And Cecilia is not alone. So, doctor, normally when you think of hair loss, you think of men in their 50s and 60s, but you said that's not the case now.
So I think the reason we're seeing more young patients in our office, number one, could be to poor dietary factors or increased BMI, which we know both of those things are prevalent in the population these days. And in addition, I think that there's increased awareness on the internet and social media where numerous hair loss products are being advertised.
The demand for better treatments couldn't be coming at a better time. Minoxidil is a topical product that has been on the market for years. Now, however, an oral version of minoxidil is rewriting the playbook on hair restoration. For Cecilia, it's been a game changer.
I am obsessed with it. I have been using it now for 3 months, and I'm noticing all of these baby hairs growing in.
Oral minoxidil is FDA approved for hypertension or high blood pressure. However, at the doses that we're giving, which are very, very low, we're able to see results on hair without getting the blood pressure effects.
I'm actually growing a lot of new hair.
New hairs?
Yeah.
Wow.
I know. I'm so happy.
Oral minoxidil is the newest hair restoration treatment that gets desired results. However, Dr. Nussbaum also recommends topical finasteride specifically for men, and he says it works very well. In Miami, Maribel Rodriguez, CBS News, Miami.
Labor Day weekend is right around the corner for us, and AAA is expecting a 9% increase in travelers. That means longer wait times at places like the airport. CBS News Miami's Nikai Carrera gives us a behind-the-scenes look at how TSA operates every day to keep things running smoothly at Fort Lauderdale Hollywood International.
Thank you. As airports see record-breaking numbers, TSA officers are hard at work. So I got a look at a day in the life of a TSA officer and all the things they have to do to make your traveling experience run smooth.
Here you go, ma'am. Have a good day.
Raven Williams is one of more than 900 TSA officers on staff at Fort Lauderdale Hollywood International Airport. She started her shift by checking IDs and tickets, but that can change at any moment as they rotate throughout their shift. All of a sudden, she's sitting in a chair watching a screen scanning carry-on items. She says technology helps not just them, but also passengers.
It makes it much easier to be able to determine what's in the passenger's bag. It makes screening a bag take less time than what it would normally take. As far as getting the passengers in and out.
Time to move again. Williams finds her next gig of the day being the second eyes, going through bags with items possibly on the no-fly list. One bag coming through had frozen fish.
In some cases, we're just testing items making sure that there's nothing concealed inside of them. And that's basically this process.
The TSA Federal Security Director at FLL says officers are always going through trainings to be up to date on the latest technology. He says with record-breaking volumes of passengers going beyond holidays, staffing is important.
The staffing and scheduling that we have and the planning, it's a heavy, intricate process that we go through where we pull all of our people together and make sure that we've got enough staffing to cover all of the flights that the airlines have scheduled.
Now, there are ways travelers can make their own TSA experience run smoother. Check your bags before showing up to the airport and make sure you don't pack things that you shouldn't, like guns. At Fort Lauderdale Hollywood International Airport, Nikaya Carrero, CBS News, Miami.
When we return, see how a South Florida woman is turning her pain into purpose and helping those navigate through grief.
From South Florida, this is Headliners, only on CBS News Miami.
Welcome back. I'm Elliot Rodriguez. Turning now to mental health matters. CBS News Miami's commitment to helping find solutions in our community. Grief is a universal experience. We all go through it at some point in our lives, but some people have to go through it alone. One local woman is using her own experience with devastating loss to help others, creating a platform to bring healing at hand. CBS News Miami's Lauren Pastrana has her story.
Aaron and I met in LA in 2008, and it was a beautiful romance.
It's a love story with a heartbreaking chapter.
There was a horrible accident, and we lost him, and it was very tricky.
Tech founder and entrepreneur Aaron Hirschhorn was killed in a Biscayne Bay boating accident in March 2021. He was 42 years old with 3 children and a loving wife.
And since then, it's been an interesting and bumpy journey of healing and growth and coming to terms with my new identity as a young widow and a solo mom.
Karine Nissim is now a solo mom, but she doesn't want others to ever feel like they are grieving alone. So she and her business partner, a fellow widow, created Day New, an app to help with the organizational, emotional, and social aspects of life after loss.
And it's for anyone going through any kind of trauma, like loss, divorce, illness. They answer a few questions and get features like Find a Buddy or a community page where you can communicate to the people in your life the ways they can help you.
The app also includes a daily mood check, prompts for journaling, checklists to stay organized, and signups for workshops and retreats.
At some point, we all, hopefully, experience grief, right? It's part of being human.
Dr. Allison Golden is a licensed psychologist with Goodman Jewish Family Services of Broward, who specializes in working with patients who've experienced trauma, crisis, and grief. She says apps like Day New can be a great supplement to therapy, as well as family and peer support, either in person or virtual.
For the person that really needs the hug or needs the handhold or needs the energy in the room, they might need additional support in person. For the person who doesn't need that, they may get all of what they need out of something virtual.
For Nissim, Day New is also an ode to Aaron and their tech ties. They started their first platform together, Dog Vacay, back in 2012. Now she hopes her latest app will help others heal out loud.
Our goal is to normalize the conversation around grief and trauma and loss. This idea that you can live a life of greater meaning and purpose, not in spite of what's happened, but because of it.
The app is free to download, but certain features like messaging other users require a monthly subscription, mostly to protect members' personal data. Lauren Pastrana, CBS News, Miami.
And finally, about 300,000 children in Florida have a parent in a jail or prison. That's according to the Casey Foundation, one of the nation's largest private philanthropic groups. In this week's edition of Miami Proud, we showcase a local nonprofit that helps families recover from the trauma of incarceration when they return to their communities and their loved ones. It's called the 300 Letters Organization. CBS News Miami's Nikaya Carrero introduces us to the couple that founded it.
300 letters. That's how many letters Amanda Tarver and her husband, Legend Tarver, exchanged while incarcerated. And it's that experience as a family during that time that motivated them to help others just like them.
I am a person that experienced incarceration the first time she ever got in trouble.
Amanda Tarver, along with her husband Legend Tarver, were indicted back in 2013 while she was pursuing a career in the medical field, and he had just received his bachelor degree from FIU.
I was just feeling so many mixed emotions, so much guilt, frustration. I had a lot of anxiety. I didn't know. The 2 years ahead of me felt like a lifetime.
Out of the 2 jobs that I had, still wasn't enough, so I just started selling drugs, and I continued to educate myself. I went and I got a college education. I attained my bachelor's degree in December, and then I was indicted in January the next year.
A mother of a 6-year-old, Amanda was sentenced to 2 years, finding out she was pregnant with her second son when she arrived to prison in 2015. And it was her experience as a mother in prison that opened her eyes.
I'd say 90% of the women there, moms, were first-time offenders. And that already took me aback immediately because I couldn't believe how many moms were being pulled away from their children.
Legend was having a similar experience during his sentence.
The most common denominator was just people who were impoverished and just didn't have much to start off with, didn't maybe have guidance, and there's a lot of single family homes as well.
According to a report from the Prison Policy Initiative, 47% of people in state prison are parents to minors, and living through that journey as a family is what led to the birth of the 300 Letters organization. Their goal? Break cycles and keep families together.
And what we focus is on teaching women about resources, rehabilitation while they're incarcerated, so we're mentally prepared, because reentry starts the day you get incarcerated. You have to be prepared for everything that will come along with this experience.
And it's no longer those people over there that are going through it. This is a problem that's happening to all of us, our neighbors, people in our community.
The Tarvers say eventually they want to grow 300 Letters nationwide. In Miami, Nakaya Carrero, CBS News, Miami.
And thank you so much for joining us on this half hour on Headliners. Always keep it right here on CBS News Miami for up-to-the-minute breaking news and weather 24 hours a day. Make it a great day.